Well, guys, we all thought it was going to happen. We predict, we assumed, and it actually happened. Spider-Man Far From Home crosses the $1 billion mark, being the first movie in the franchise to make $1 billion. Let me put on my shock face. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, I am Robert Storms. As always, if you want to stay up to date on all superhero content news, be sure to click that subscribe button and be sure to hit that like button because that helps out the YouTube algorithm a lot. So Spider-Man Far From Home, no shock to me anyway, and I think many of you guys at home, because it crossed $1 billion. It's the first ever movie in the Spider-Man franchise to cross $1 billion, and I think we all pretty much assumed it was going to happen because Avengers Endgame pretty much expands everything around it. Captain Marvel crossed $1 billion because of the anticipation of Endgame, and now Spider-Man Far From Home is crossing $1 billion because everybody wants to know what happens after Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is sort of like Viagra, man. And to be honest with you, I think this movie actually deserved $1 billion. I mean, I'm not getting a cut of it. I'm not seeing the money, but I wasn't a huge fan of Spider-Man Homecoming, but I felt like some of the problems that I had with Homecoming, they fixed in Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was awesome. I thought he was by far the best part of the movie. I thought the first half of it was a little slow, but once it started picking up, once we started getting into the meat of what this story was about, I really enjoyed it. I thought the post-credit scenes were fantastic. I can't wait to see where the future of the Spider-Man franchise goes in the MCU, and I'm really excited about that. To think that the Spider-Man franchise has been around for a while now, since the early 2000s, and is just now getting to $1 billion. The only other movie that was close to that was Spider-Man 3, a movie that a lot of us don't want to talk about. And rightfully so, that movie had a lot of problems with it, and even though I have some nitpick problems with Spider-Man Far From Home, I think it's a pretty decent movie, and it just goes to show you that superhero fatigue, that is bullshit. Every time a comic book film fails or a certain film doesn't meet this expectation at the box office, people want to throw out superhero fatigue, superhero fatigue. Oh, Hellboy bombed, oh, superhero fatigue. Oh, Shazam did good, but it didn't make as much as it could have, superhero fatigue. Apparently, Disney and the MCU didn't get that memo. It all comes down to branding and quality films. And although Spider-Man Far From Home isn't one of my favorite MCU films, the track record with the MCU and with Avengers Endgame being so good, everybody wanted to see how this movie turned out. We wanted to see what was going to happen after the events of Endgame, so everybody went out to see Spider-Man Far From Home. It was only logical that it was going to make as much money as it did. You can't sit there and be the biggest movie worldwide at the box office of all time and have the follow-up movie not cross $1 billion. That would have been sanity. Even I would have been like, well, what's going on with the box office? Is there superhero fatigue? Like, what's going on? But let's just take this time as Spider-Man fans, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, to just kind of enjoy that finally we have a Spider-Man film to cross the $1 billion. But I want to know what you guys think. Are you happy that Spider-Man Far From Home crossed that $1 billion mark? Did you go see it? How many times you seen it? Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.